We looked at functions earlier. Now it's time to look at another way to create values, computed properties. A computed property is a variable declaration which, instead of equals, has a code block that assigns the value. Once you do this, the variable becomes read-only. You can't assign values to it. Now, from our formatting playground, let's head back over to Huli Pizza, and we'll go back in here to Huli Pizza Takeout. And we're going to go over here to the menu model. And as you remember from the last time we played with this, we added to the model ID and used a string to get us an image from an SF symbol. Now that string is kind of hard to type. I think we did it over here in H menu item view, if you can see it here. And you can see it right smack in the middle there as item ID dot circle, and we had to do all of that. It'd be much easier if I can do this in a way that I only have to type a little bit of code and I don't have to type all that code over and over again. And that's what we're going to use a computed property for. So I'm going to go back over here to menu model, and let's close up that. And from here, what we're going to do is go up here into menu item, and I'm going to add another variable. Okay, call it image name. This is going to be a string. And then instead of typing something after it, I'm going to put just a code block, which is curly braces. And I'll hit return here. And then inside the curly braces, I now have code, and I can actually use code to figure out what I'm going to do with image name. And I have the other variables here available for me to use, and I'm going to be using ID. So what we're going to do is just make a string. So I'll start with the quotes and put backslash ID circle dot fill. Okay, and that creates a computed property. Now you can, in these, like we did with function, you could put return here. On many computed properties, you'll find that if you have a single line computed property, they'll leave off the return because the first line assumes a return. So if you just put a value there, it's going to say, oh, that's a return. If you have more than one line, you need to have more returns so that you know exactly what you are sending back. So I'll leave it there for this one. In H menu item view, I can use this. So let's go over to H menu item view. And I can replace what I did here. Okay, so I cut that out. And now I can use item dot, and there's image name. As I did this with fill, you can see that it now fills them in as well. You can see the difference. And I can repeat the same thing with the V menu item view. So let's go over here, V menu item view. And I'm going to do the same thing I did just here. Get rid of all that. And that's a lot easier to deal with. And we can see that our images are showing up as now filled circles instead of unfilled circles. I'm going to try this again. Now, we don't have prices yet on these pizzas, so let's go ahead and put a price on them. But I want to do a price with a currency on it, which we just learned about the formatter, so I'm going to use my formatter to do that. Let's go back over to menu model, and I'm going to make another one of these. And I'm going to call this one formatted price. And that'll be a string. And again, I'll make my curly braces. I'll hit return. This time I'm not going to use return. I'm just going to put it in here. So I've got my price there, so I'm going to put in price. And I'm going to use formatted. There it is. And then my format style will be currency. And the code will be US dollars. This is a US company. I have my formatted price put in here. So we can go back into H menu item view and V menu item view. So let's just do H menu item view first. I'll use the top tab to get in there. And we're going to put that under our menu description. So let's put it right here in this V stack. And I'm going to put text item dot formatted price. And there you go. You get a price right in there really quickly. And it's all formatted for you. If you would change that format, I can just change in the code that I have back in menu model. And let's do the same thing for view menu item view. Go down to that, just below the if is title. And let's put that in there. Item, formatted price. This is already a string, so I don't have to do any string interpolation for it. And it's all set to go. And you can see it just did that. Let's go back over here to menu model. And let's pull the circle back out to without a fill real quick. And there you go. You can see it's now popped back. I just did them all in one shot because they're all coming from that same source. And so that's what you can do with this. I like this fill, so I'm going to put the fill back in. And it pops right back in again. I used two cases here where you created a string. Computed properties do not have to be strings. And as we make more complex code, you'll find computed properties to be very useful. When you need a value out of an object based on properties you set, it is a better choice compared to a function.